is up, ladder climbers? This is Antoine Way from Elevate to the Unknown and the Way Report and NextGenHeights.com. And it is Tuesday, December the 9th, 2025, 7 a.m. Central. And we are live on the Daily Climb. Guys, yesterday, December the 8th, 3 CEOs made 3 statements that reveal everything wrong with how they see you. Okay? That is what we're going to be talking about today, the disconnect. The big disconnect. Verizon CEO, they fired 15,000 people, called it inevitable. Then said this: cost reductions will be a way of life for us here. Okay. SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, the organization that teaches companies how to treat employees. They got hit with an $11.5 million discrimination verdict on December the 5th. Their CEO was heading to their holiday party because it is that time of the year when we have a lot of holiday parties. He got the news when he was heading there. He told employees in a video that the verdict was just a blip in the history of SHRM. I want you guys to type blip in the chat if you heard blip. Okay? $11.5 million. That's how much they got to pay because of this discrimination verdict. And that's just a blip? I don't know about that. It's a lot of money. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said last week, the American people don't know how good they have it. I want you guys to type good if you feel like you have it so good right now. Type good in the chat. Now, I feel good. Do I have it so good? I wouldn't say so. I don't see that many goods coming in right now. Okay? I don't see that many goods coming in right now on the chats. But let me tell you your reality. Americans are carrying $1.3 trillion in credit card debt at an average interest rate of 21.39%. A woman named Allie has a master's degree. She applied to 500 jobs for 800 days and absolutely got nothing. Okay? Got nothing. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Allie in one of these segments coming up. Then Allie made a silly meme on Facebook with her picture next to a giant tomato sculpture, her astrology sign, a dog photo. She posted it on a Facebook group. Within hours, she got 25 job leads. She got hired. Insane that you can just go online, put a meme on the chat or a Facebook group, and then that's how you make connections and get hired. So today I'm going to show you the great disconnect. The disconnect between what they say and what you experience. The disconnect between their reality and yours. The disconnect between the people getting crushed and the people who is figuring it out. Guys, this is the Daily Climb. It's Tuesday, December the 9th. The disconnect, the lies, the truth, and your choice. Let's climb today, okay? Let's see who's all in the house. We got the Life Cam in the house. We got Big Suggs in the house. Good to see you, Danny. Good to see you, Indigo Blue. Good morning, guys. We are rocking on the Way Report today because YouTube decides they want to be crazy again. But let's move on and let's not even talk about it, okay? It is Tuesday, December the 9th, 2025, and I need to tell you about the worst example of corporate disconnect that I've seen in quite some time. All right? SHRM, we talked about them quite a few weeks ago. The human resource company that's supposed to be teaching people how to handle human resources issues and how to get certified in human resources things. Well, it was told to Business Insider that they do one thing and say another. All right. So let's talk about it. December the 5th, last Thursday, a jury in Colorado delivered a verdict against an organization called SHRM. SHRM stands for Society for Human Resource Management. This is the organization that teaches companies how to treat their employees. At least that's what they say. This is the organization that sets the best practices. This is the organization that certifies HR professionals. They have 575 local chapters around the world. So decent sized organization. And on December the 5th, a jury found them guilty of employee discrimination and retaliation. The verdict, $11.5 million. Now, let me give you the context on how big that number is. According to legal data, the company Westlaw, the median federal race discrimination verdict over 7 years was $150,000. The largest verdict in their entire data set was less than 7 million. So SHRM got hit with 11.5. Employment lawyers call this a nuclear verdict. That's the legal term for it. Nuclear. Ain't that something? Now here's where it gets worse. The CEO of SHRM, Johnny C. Taylor Jr., was heading to the company's annual holiday party at a restaurant in D.C. Beautiful state in D.C. Going to the hotel restaurant at the Hamilton. That's when he got the news. So we sent the video to the SHRM staff, and in that video, which Business Insider saw, he said this: "While as a lawyer, you all know I respect the judicial process, but we vehemently disagree with the decision." Then he said this: "The case will go down as just a blip in the history of SHRM." A blip. That's what he told his employees. And he also told them not to talk to the press about the case or any company matters. Now, an employment lawyer named Allison Willard told Business Insider getting a punitive damage award in and of itself is difficult because it is such a high bar to prove that the conduct at the issue is extreme and outrageous. She said the size of this verdict is a staggering figure. It's 11.5 million. Then she said this: SHRM of all organizations really should have known better. You are a human resources company, right? Supposed to teach people how to do the right things, how to manage people and so forth. And yet you get hit with a discrimination verdict, and it's one of the largest in history. The corporate disconnect. So yeah, the HR experts should have known better. The jury knew that too. Court records showed that the jurors sent one note during the deliberations, 2 questions: who receives punitive damages? And is there a formula or max value for punitive damages? They were looking for how high they could go. They deliberated for 4.5 hours and came back with $11.5 million. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Now, while SHRM was calling 11.5 million a blip, Verizon CEO was saying something just as bad. Obviously, you guys heard about Verizon announcing the 15,000 job cuts in November, and their CEO held an all hands webcast to explain the layoffs. He called it the layoffs were inevitable. That's what he said. Okay. Not even market conditions forced our hand. He says inevitable. Like it's a law of physics, like it's gravity, like the sun is rising. Your job loss is inevitable as the tide. Then he said something even worse. Cost reductions will be the way of life for us here. That's what he said. Okay. That means every single person who still works at Verizon now knows that their job is never safe again. Not this year, not next year, not ever. Cost reductions will be the way of life. And what happened to Verizon stock when they announced this? It jumped 2.1%. You guys remember that? Wall Street loved it. Wall Street absolutely loved it. Let's talk about PepsiCo. Let me show you the third example of the corporate disconnect. PepsiCo has initiated what they're calling a multi-year cost reset, driven by an activist investor called Elliott Investment Management. They're targeting a 20% reduction in products and significant North American layoffs. But here's a tactic that they use. PepsiCo instructed North American staff to work from home this week. This is what they're saying. They're saying, hey, you know what, guys, go and work from home this week because something's going to go on. So all the PepsiCo staff is working from home this week. Now, why would they do that? Employees now recognize this as a pre-layoff containment strategy. They send you home so they can fire you over Zoom without having to look you in the eye, without having to see your reaction, without having to deal with the workplace scene. People are calling this the, quote, digital firing squad. That's what they're calling it. And this is generating intense backlash for its lack of humanity. So you guys heard it. SHRM, the human resource experts, $11.5 million, just a blip. Verizon, $15,000 inevitable. Way of life. PepsiCo, work from home so that we can fire you. And we'll do it remotely. That's the corporate disconnect. But here's what they're not telling you about why this is happening. In this next segment, we're going to talk about OpenAI and what they're saying about AI. And it says that it makes you 75% more productive. And I'm going to show you what that really means for your job, okay? Stay with me on this next segment, guys. Now I'm going to show you guys the real reason Verizon can call 15,000 layoffs inevitable. Okay? Inevitable. This morning, December the 9th, 2025, at 5:21 a.m. Central, while I was scrolling through Business Insider looking for stories to come to you guys and talk to you guys about. Business Insider published a story on OpenAI. OpenAI published their first report on the state of enterprise AI. So they surveyed 9,000 workers across 100 companies. And here's what they claim. They said 75% said AI has improved the speed and quality of their work. I want you guys to type 75% in the chat. If that's true for you, type it in the chat. Let me give you the specific numbers that they're claiming. 87% of IT workers say this. They can solve IT issues faster. 85% of marketing and product workers say they can execute campaigns faster. 75% of HR professionals say that employee engagement has improved. 73% of engineers report faster code delivery. So they claim workers are saving 40 to 60 minutes per day on professional tasks. That's what they claim. That's what the report says. Sounds pretty amazing, right? Type amazing in the chat if that sounds pretty amazing to you. Okay. Now here's what OpenAI didn't tell you. The report was not peer reviewed. That means no independent scientists checked their work. And here's the math that they don't want you to do. If AI makes workers 75% more productive, that means companies need 75% fewer workers. God dang. Let me say that again. When OpenAI says 75% of workers say AI improved their work, what Verizon's CEO is hearing is this: we can cut 75% of our workforce. That's why he can call 15,000 layoffs inevitable, because OpenAI is giving him the data to justify it. God dang. God dang, ain't that something? Ain't that something? Now, let me show you another CEO and what they said about AI. Okay. Edwin Chin. He's the CEO of a company called Surge AI. Surge AI is an AI training startup. They pay 1 million freelancers to train AI models. So this guy knows how AI actually works. And here's what he said last week. He said, I'm worried that instead of building AI that will actually advance us as a species, curing cancer, solving poverty, understanding the universe, all these big grand questions. We are optimizing for AI slop instead. That's what he said. Then he said this. He said, we're basically teaching our models to chase dopamine instead of the truth. Now, let me explain what he means. He's talking about the industry leaderboards like something called LM Arena. LM Arena is a website where anyone can vote on which AI response is better. And Chen said this, they're not carefully reading or fact checking. They're skimming these responses for 2 seconds and picking whatever looks flashiest. Then he said this, quote, it's literally optimizing your models for the types of people who buy tabloids at the grocery store. God dang. Optimizing your models for the types of people who buy tabloids at the grocery store. You know, when you're in line, you're buying a little Snicker bar or you're buying a gallon of milk and you see that little Newsweek or you see that little pamphlet and it's pink and it's flashy and it has somebody's face on it and it looks like it's something that wants to grab your attention and you go and pick it up. That's exactly what these same AI models are doing and how they're being trained to be attention grabbing. So let me connect this for you guys. OpenAI says 75% more productive, but Surge AI CEO says we're building tabloid content. It looks productive, but it's not actually solving problems. And here's the evidence that Chen is right. MIT did a study in August, you guys remember that, and they found that most companies see no measurable return on investment from generative AI. Stanford and Harvard published a paper in September. They said many professionals are churning out, quote, work slop. That's AI generated content that looks polished, but fails to move tasks forward. That's what work slop means. And in April, Meta got caught gaming these benchmarks. They released a model called Llama for Maverick. They submitted a, quote, customized version to the leaderboard that was designed to perform better for tests. LM Arena called them out on it. They said Meta should have made it clearer so everyone is optimizing for flash over function. You guys remember when Gemini just came out? Gemini was part of the LM Arena as well, too. That's why they got the big news announcements and all this other stuff that Gemini 3 is the best AI model and is far ahead of ChatGPT and so forth. All that was driven through the LM Arena. So is Gemini 3 good? I would say it is, but is it better than ChatGPT? I don't know yet. Me, personal experience, I don't think so. But maybe I don't use it for what it's meant to be for. OpenAI says 75% more productive. Surge AI says we're building tabloid content. MIT says no ROI. Stanford says workplace slop. Meta got caught cheating. That's the AI disconnect. Okay? Now check this out. Tomorrow, the Federal Reserve makes a decision that reviews the biggest disconnect of all in this next segment. Okay? We're going to talk about cheap money. All right? We're going to be talking about cheap money. Stay with me on this next segment, guys. The money is cheap. That's a good sign for the economy. Now I'm going to show you the biggest economic disconnect in America today, okay? Tomorrow, December the 10th and the 11th, the Federal Reserve, they meet Wednesday the 11th or Wednesday the 10th, excuse me. They will announce their decision, and future markets are pricing in an 89% probability that they will cut interest rates by 25 basis points. Okay. This would be the third consecutive rate cut in 2025. The rate would drop to 3.5 to 3.75%. Now, all the big banks flipped their forecast last week. Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they all now expect a rate cut. Okay. And what will happen when the Fed cuts rates tomorrow? The stock market will probably rally. Wall Street will celebrate. Headlines will say something like the economy is strong. Fed signals confidence. An executive like Verizon, their CEO, will get cheaper money to borrow. And a lot of companies, startups and so forth, will get cheaper money to borrow. So companies will use that cheap money to buy back their own stock, to increase their stock price, to make themselves richer. That's what's going to happen. Now, let me tell you your reality, though. Your credit card interest rate, it's still 21.1939%. And Americans are carrying $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. Okay. The Fed cut rates to 3.5%. For companies, you still pay 21.4% on your credit card. That's a 17.9% percentage point difference. Okay. And the credit card delinquencies are dipping slightly. You know why? Because people are prioritizing debt payments over food and rent. Financial experts are calling this the, quote, starve to pay visa phenomenon. That's what they're saying. To starve to pay visa. Now, you're going to hear tomorrow in this week that the holiday spending is at record highs. And that's true. But here's what they're not telling you. Wealthier consumers are driving those record spending headlines. The bottom 50% are drowning. Economists call this the K-shaped economy. The top goes up, the bottom goes down. That's the letter K. So when Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the American people don't know how good they have it, he's talking about the top of the K. Many a times he's not talking about you. Unless you out there getting to the money. You're out there getting to the money, then he's talking about you. But tomorrow, the Fed will cut rates 3.5% for companies, but your credit card stays at 21%. They borrow cheap money for stock buybacks. You pay high interest on food and rent, so make sure you are getting rid of your debt. Okay? That's the Fed disconnect. But here's what you need to know. There's one woman who figured it out, how to beat this system. In this next segment, we're going to talk about Allie's story. She had 500 applications, 800 days without employment, and then she got one. We're going to be talking about Allie on the next segment, guys. But real quick, before I show you Allie's story, if you want to go deeper in any of this stuff, check out our Patreon, www.patreon.com/blackheights.com. Okay. We have Saturday morning community calls. You get direct access to me in those calls. In a Saturday call, we can go deep on what you guys want to discuss related to your careers, related to content creation, any of that. Last week, we had a great session. We talked about how individuals were able to get into FANG companies. Also, we talked about content creation as well, too. Check out our Saturday morning call, 7 a.m. Central. Okay. We talk exactly how to position yourself when the system is broken. If you're serious about positioning yourself, check out the Patreon, www.patreon.com/blackheights. Link in the description of this video. Now let's talk about Allie. Let's talk about Allie. I like that name, Allie, too. It's a cool name. Okay. I'm going to tell you about a woman who figured out how to beat a broken system. Her name is Allie Lactic. She's 29 years old. She graduated from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. She's an Illini. Okay. She got a master's degree in library and information science. One of the top rated library schools in the country, Illinois-Champaign is. She graduated in May 2023. She got her official job offer July 2025. Took her a long time. From the day she graduated to the day she got the offer, 800 days had passed. I want you guys to type 800 in the chat if that's a long time. 800 days had passed, man. In total, she applied to over 500 jobs, she said. And she was doing everything that people say you are supposed to do. optimizing her resume for ATS software and using exact language from the job description in her cover letter and her resumes. She kept detailed spreadsheets of the jobs that she applied to, although sometimes she was too hired or excuse me, she felt like she wasn't going to get hired. And sometimes there was times where she said she was just too tired to input some of the information in her spreadsheet. Okay. She was going through this so much to a point where she just got burnt out. She told Business Insider, after 100 jobs, you're just like, it doesn't matter anymore. Many of you guys have felt that before, where you're just numb to the fact of you're doing something and you're doing it over and over again and nothing is winning for you. You just become numb. She applied to an organization that she respected a lot, with which she volunteered for many years. She went through 3 rounds of interviews, had to complete 2 exercises, which took 8 hours. They sent her an auto rejection email that was 4 sentences long. Okay. 4 sentences. That's it. She volunteered for them. She wanted the job and she did over 8 hours of work and they sent her an email. 4 sentences long. Rejected. She told Business Insider, the energy that I got during these job hunts was offensive. After a full year of job hunting and constant rejection, she took a break for a couple of months in a lead up to her wedding. So, she got a boyfriend. She had a boyfriend. Boyfriend was making a good money and was able to help cover the rent so she could, search for jobs. She said this, at some point, a girl gets depressed, and I don't think there's any shame in that. When things don't go your way the right, sometimes there's depression, whether you're a girl or a boy, right? When things don't go your way for quite some time, especially after 800 days, God dang, you got to feel depressed. You got to feel like something's wrong with you, but there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. There's nothing wrong with you. That's what she found out. When she returned to job hunting after her wedding, she really needed to refresh herself. She said it can get stale. It can get stale doing this stuff. She likes to make quick little Canva projects as jokes and send them to friends. So one day she was really upset about how job hunting was going. She made a satirical, art piece. And it featured a little, a message like this. Please hire me. Right? What you're seeing here on the screen had a photo of herself next to a giant tomato sculpture, a paragraph about she was ready to find a job, her big 3 astrology signs, a dog, a photo, for tax. She sent it to her friends, asked them, could you imagine if I posted this? They all told her to do it. She posted it on a local Facebook group that she's part of. The group has over 60,000 members. It's geared towards women in Chicago. The tone of the group is very much, that people want to be a village and help their friends. A few hours later, there were over 200 reactions on it and multiple comments. A number of hiring managers reached out to her directly. She got 25 job leads across a wide range of fields. Ain't that something? She told Business Insider this. It was a very fast reversal of the situation. Her now boss, the owner and photographer of Boudier Photography Studio, reached out and said she really liked the authenticity and the upbeatness of the graphic. Allie hadn't realized, but she'd showcase a lot of her skills, being personable and good at communication and making things more approachable. She joined her company as a studio manager in July 2025. It's a part-time / hybrid role that's very flexible, she says, but she goes in about once a month. Her job is to manage clients and their experience and to make sure that they have enough information before the photo shoots. She also helps fill administrative gaps by doing sales and marketing and admin work. So she's getting a full breadth of experience of being a business owner. Almost 5 months in, she says this is the healthiest work environment that she's had so far. She's being treated well and she's learning. and she's earning enough to meet her financial goals, and she feels satisfied at the end of the day. Here's her advice for other job seekers, she said. She told Business Insider this: I think we need to update job hunting advice specifically for Gen Z. She says Gen Z really resonates with authenticity, things that aren't super polished and off the cuff. She says we live in an attention economy that works for us, and it's being very direct and earnest about our situation because people want to help. Then she said this: for those stuck in a really long job hunt, do something silly, do something artistic, something that's going to make people stop scrolling and emphasize and empathize with you. That's what she said. She said, stop being so serious. She said, Gen Z is a different breed. They want authenticity. She says, a part of me is like, oh my God, I can't believe that that's where it's at. But we are that human connection and going to do way more for you than anything else that was true for me. She really values authenticity and being around people, not that fake corporate stuff. Allie did everything right for 800 days. Nothing. She made a silly meme. 25 job leads from that silly meme. Hired because she was authentic, not polished. That's how you beat a broken system. That's how you beat it. In this next segment, I'm going to give you your positioning moves for this week, okay? I want you guys to stay with me on this next segment. But real quick, before I give you the positioning moves, if you want all of this research delivered to your inbox every single Monday through Friday, check out our newsletter. Sign up for our newsletter. Link is in the top of the description of this video. We have over 900 people subscribe to our newsletter. They read it every single Monday through Friday. Today's show is going to have the SHRM in it. It's going to talk about the 11.5 million blip. It's going to talk about the Verizon inevitable. It's going to talk about the OpenAI productivity lie. It's going to talk about the Fed disconnect as well, too. Full recap is going to be in your inbox this morning at 11:30 a.m. Central. We send it Monday through Friday. Link is in the description. Okay. Check it out if you haven't signed up for it yet. All right, let's move on to the next segment here, guys. Now I'm going to give you your positioning moves for the remainder of the week. It is Tuesday, guys. We still got 3 more days left in the week, 3.5 more days if you count today. Well, actually 4 days, because today your work day hasn't even started yet. But you're on the daily climb and you're learning a whole bunch before you get your day started. Should give you the juice to go out there and crush your day. But you guys got 4 deadlines this week. Deadline number 1, Microsoft Ignite Challenge. Deadline December the 15th. That's 6 days. Okay. Complete any Ignite challenge. Submit your entry by December the 15th. 5,000 vouchers available for 50% off Microsoft certification exams. Any Microsoft certification, the Azure certifications, the security center certifications, the data certifications, the AI certifications, all of them. Okay. 6 days left. Deadline number 2, SolidWorks free certifications. You guys will see this in the newsletter as well. But registration December the 8th through December the 12th. That's 3 days to register. All issued exams must be completed by December the 31st. 2 attempts allowed per exam. CSWA Certified SolidWorks Associate, CSWP Certified SolidWorks Professional. Advanced professional exams, all free. Okay. Deadline number 3. Apprenti Tech Apprenticeship Program. Deadline December the 15th, 6 days from now. This is a free program, accelerated technical training 2 to 5 months, followed by paid on-the-job training lasting 1 year. Open application periods occur twice annually, June and December. This is December, the window that you should be applying to if you are looking for those technical apprenticeships, okay? Maybe it's for your kids. Maybe it's for your cousins. Maybe it's for your nieces and nephews. Either way, you can get it in the newsletter. You can forward it over to them. Say, hey, maybe you should look at this. I heard about this on the Daily Climb show. Deadline number 4, Salesforce AI certifications. free through December the 31st. AI associate certification, normally $200. AI specialist certification, also free. First attempt, free for all candidates. Okay. Salesforce projects, 11 million. They project 11 million new AI skill jobs from 2022 to 2028. That's what they say. All right. They're offering these free courses so that you can get certified and you can become knowledgeable in the AI space. Maybe you can work for Salesforce, selling those AI agents. Who knows? But it's worth taking a look at, especially if you are looking to make a pivot into the AI space. Pick one, start today. 4 deadlines this week. And next, Microsoft is the 6 days away. SolidWorks is 3 days. Apprenti is 6 days. Salesforce is 3 weeks. Guys, just pick one. Pick one. Decide you want to execute on it and get it done. But here's what matters more than the certifications. All right. The choice that you have. In this next segment, we're going to talk about the choice that you have. Stay with me on this next one. Then we will wrap up for today. I got to get to a flight to head to the NYC. NYC. I'm heading to NYC, guys. Let me recap what happened in this last 24 hours. SHRM, the HR experts, got hit with a $11.5 million discrimination verdict. Their CEO called it, quote, just a blip. $11.5 million, put like that. If anybody got hit on something like that, man, they might be fired. Ain't that's a lot of money. God dang. Said it's just a blip. When you make that kind of money and it's not that big of a deal for you, you say it's just a blip. All right. Verizon CEO, 15,000 people laid off in November, called it inevitable. Inevitable. You can't say that word very fast, but that's what he said. Cost reductions is the new way of life, and it will be the way of life. So nobody's safe. He's basically saying everything that I've been telling you. PepsiCo told staff work from home this week so they can fire you over Zoom without looking you in the eye. OpenAI, they published a report saying 75% of workers say AI improved their work. What they don't tell you, that means companies need 75% fewer workers. The Fed cut rates tomorrow. Hopefully. 89% chance that they're going to do it. 3.5% for companies. But your credit card, guess what? Stays at 21%. Just because they're cutting rates doesn't do anything for your pockets. Maybe the housing interest rates will go down after some weeks or something along those lines, but don't do very much for your pockets. What it does do is it allows for companies to spend more money and borrow money for free, which therefore they start the hiring. So hopefully it's a turn into the hiring economy. All right. Allie, let's talk about her again. 29, master's degree, applied to 500 jobs, 480 days, or longer than that. Shit, was 800 days. She did everything right and absolutely got nothing. She made a silly meme on Facebook with her picture next to a tomato, her astrology sign, and a dog, and got 25 job leads in hours. So what that also tells you is that you just got to put yourself in the right rooms. Put yourself in the right rooms where your talents can shine. That's basically what she did. She put herself in a room where there was a Facebook group with all these women who were supporting each other, who had hiring decisions and hiring positions and so forth. And they said, okay, well, you look like you got talent. That's what she did. So she got 25 job leads and she got hired because she was authentic, not polished. People want to see authenticity. Now, the question is, which world do you want to live in? The world where your layoff is the inevitable, where 11.5 million is just a blip, where they send you home to fire you remotely, where they say measure productivity to justify your elimination, where they get 3.5% and you pay 21%? Or you want to live in a world where you stop polishing your resume, where you post silly memes and where you can be authentic and let people connect with you, the real you? Where human connection beats corporate optimization. It's on you. Okay? Whatever you want to choose on that situation. You can live in both worlds if you want. You know that's how you make a living. You better live in both worlds. Try to be authentic as much as possible, but also understand that there's rules around this game. Either way, if this show has helped you today, if it's helped you to see the disconnect, if Ali's story gave you any hope, if you're tired of being treated like a line item, make sure you hit the like button. Do it right now. Subscribe if you haven't hit the subscribe button to the Wade Report while we are over here until the Elevate Unknown is back. We go live every single weekday, 7 a.m. Central. This is your CNBC for careers. Okay. If you guys want to go deeper, check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/Black Heights. We're building a community of people who are choosing authenticity over corporate. All right. But we also are having fun because we know we live in the corporate world as well, too. And we got to comply our best. Guys, the SHRM blip, the Verizon inevitable, the OpenAI lie, the Fed disconnect, Ali's meme, all of it. Check out the newsletter. It will be all there. Okay. This is the Daily Climb. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the Feds and its decision. All right. We'll talk about that, I think, on Wednesday. Oracle, they report earnings. I think Broadcom report earnings. So we'll see exactly how things are going in the AI space as well. And we'll talk about that. All right. It's Tuesday. I got to get ready for a flight. I appreciate you guys rock with me on today's show. We had some challenges yesterday on the Elevate to the Unknown channel, and hopefully it's resolved soon. But if it's not, you know, we're going to continue to rock out over here. Thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate you, Topaz. I appreciate you, Big Suggs. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much, Life of Cam. I got a chance to speak to the Life of Cam yesterday, man. It was a good conversation, man. My good brother who's out there in Thailand doing a wonderful job for us. Amy, good to see you as well. Indigo Blue, good to see you. Guys, go out there and crush your day. Have a wonderful day and crush it, man. Just remember this. Be in control of what you can be in control of. One of the things I learned about Amy's story today is, 500 applications, 800 days without employment. She still had a good attitude. She still was able to post something out there to the people that actually really enjoyed her. So find rooms where people enjoy you. That's my message for you today, okay? We'll see you guys on tomorrow while I'm in New York. Guys, take care. Bye-bye.